stars, and that's who we are. We are voices. There's nothing to fear. Explode in your rear. Feel our voices.
VOR, phone home. Oh, stupid. This is Ed. I said that. I'm sorry.
This is Mike. Ed said that. We're sorry.
This is Carl, and that was ouch.
Awesome. Welcome back. We're still talking video games, and we're just moving through time. Boo!
Yeah, but before we do, you have E.T. playing in the background on your screen there. And I want to say, a lot of people think it was the worst game ever made. I used to kind of love it as a kid. I played a lot of it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I think it's basically because I was a dumb kid and I didn't know any better. But I've always had fond memories of it. But it's really funny because there was always this urban legend that they took all the extra copies of it that didn't sell and they buried them in the desert in a landfill.
No,
yeah, I've heard about that.
That's
yeah,
true.
and it is true because they finally found the landfill just this past year, and they dug up a bunch of Atari ET for the 2600. So, and what's really funny is if I got my facts right, I've read lots of stuff about it over the years, but I believe what happened was they actually made more copies of the game than were actual Atari sold on the market because they thought that E.T. was going to be that game that sold it. And like the popularity of E.T. would actually sell more Atari systems, so they actually made more games than actual systems that were in circulation.
Ooh, bad.
Terrible idea. But
wow. Yeah,
and that's
pretty bad.
that's why there's a landfill full of E.T. out in the Arizona or New Mexico desert. So
Yeah. Ugh, gross misjudgment.
yeah, and I still have that game for the Atari 2600. So.
Guess we're still Americans.
Yep.
We've always been Americans.
Slap a logo and a little theme guy on it, and we'll fucking sell the shit out of it.
Oh my God, yes. The cute underdogs. Well, he's a weird. I don't know if we can call him cute E.T., but I guess that's another show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell you what, after college, I started growing up a little bit. I really didn't play many games, even though they were still happening around me. My brother was married and divorced, and as part of his new singlehood, he took control of his life, and part of that was like, let's just enjoy this shit, because I was like being oppressed while I was with this woman. So it was awesome to be his brother, you know, 'cause he was scoring like all the cool Batman shit, all the cool Batman toys, all the great all the Star Trek stuff that was coming out. He had like, you know, phasers and ships and figures galore. We just like hang out and watch cartoons and play games. And he got like some of the new game systems, and I'd play with him once in a while. Yeah, that was a really good time. But most of the time, I just didn't really hang with that. I didn't really get back into games until the birth of the Xbox. And you know, I had two sets of friends. And I hope they don't take offense if they're watching. But I had friends in the city where I lived who went out and did stuff, right? And then all the friends I grew up with who were out in the burbs where I just said I grew up. And they did some stuff, but they would like, all right, hey, Friday night, come over. We're doing this thing inside that doesn't involve other people or socializing. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stay here, you know?
Right.
Do things here. Stuff. It was a lot of that. So anyway, there was one weekend when I was just like, there was nothing else to do. I had no other plans. Everybody I knew was either out of town or busy, and I'm like, all right, I'll come out. So left work, drove out to the burbs, go to this guy's place. I'm like, oh, we'll have some drinks, have some pizza, and I'll just hang out and leave. And but somebody brought their Xbox, so they set it up, and I haven't seen a computer system in like 5 years or something, or a console. And now this control, it wasn't wireless yet. They didn't have a wireless one. I mean, maybe they sold it, but so all I'm looking at is like, that's a lot of buttons. Jeez. I mean, we had like the NES Advantage, which was awesome. It was like a big joystick and big buttons, so you could just like mash on that shit. But this looked ridiculous. It almost looked like a keyboard. So we fucked around with a couple other games, but then this other dude showed up with his Nintendo, or his Xbox, and then we started Halo.
Oh.
And we, of course, plugged one into the other, and we had we only had one. It was like 6 guys hanging out, and we only had one monitor, one TV with 2 systems. So we split it up and did the best we could with it. But I didn't leave until 5 in the morning. You know, that's not what I do. I am Ed. I do cool things. I'm in my 20s. Let's find adventure. Let's meet people. Let's try and hit on girls. 5 in the morning, and I didn't care. Like, it was so awesome to run around. Like you said, we talked yesterday about playing a game and networking and being with your friends and being able to shoot your friends in the face in the same game. So, yeah, that was a pretty steady constant, and that kind of brought me into this modern age of games.
Yeah, and I think that's really the thing about it, and it kind of goes all the way back to episode 1 of this discussion, where we grew up with it. So just like cartoons and comic books and all these other things that were big in our childhood, now that we've been exposed to them our entire life, it's okay to do it as an adult. So once you start hanging out with your friends and everything, it's just another thing for you to do. When I go up to Columbus and I visit my friend Cole, a large portion of our time is playing video games. But, you know, it's not just like one person playing a game, everyone just watching. We're playing like 4-player games on his Wii U. We're playing Mario Kart. We're playing Mario Party, you know. So we'll go out during the day and we'll go see a movie. We'll go get dinner, and might go to, like, you know, a bar or something, do something kind of cool. And then at night we come home, we either play video games or card games or board games, you know. And it's a great social way to hang out with your friends and be doing something, you know. It's a lot of fun. So
yeah, and that's what's cool. Also, going back to first segment, is that, you know, you used to have to go to the arcades and it was social. You're playing against your friends, friendly competition, even just interacting. I mean, you had to fucking take turns on a machine. You had to be patient and you had to be cool or you're never getting in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, cool, like, relax. You'll get your turn. You put your quarters up there like everybody else. Bide your time. Don't be an asshole. So it was this social activity. And then as it got into consoles that didn't talk to each other, you were limited by 2-player, maybe 4-player, maybe if you were lucky. And then computer games, kind of, maybe if you didn't have internet, you're not talking to anybody. You're just playing, you know, X-Wing alone. So now it's back to being social, and I love that. Like, I wouldn't play a lot of these games if I wasn't playing with my friends. You know, the only reason I loved playing Vice City back in the day was, you know, I was in Orlando, Joel turned me on to Vice City, and it would just be Joel and I tearing up the fucking town, shooting at cops, you know, doing these races. But when I moved away, it lost a lot of its appeal. Because I can't go online and play the same game and have the same experience. Now I can play, you know, Call of Duty or Burnout Paradise or whatever, or Borderlands, whatever, and you can talk to your friends as you do adventures.
Yeah, and that's honestly like the only reason I ever played Call of Duty was because you bought it for me that one Christmas.
Yeah.
And I played it with you and Bob, you know, and that was what made the game enjoyable for me. Like, I don't really like Call of Duty, but playing it with my friends made it fun. So, but you know, that also opens up a really interesting kind of sublet of that with mobile gaming and social gaming, as far like Facebook and your phones and your tablets and things of that nature, where people that never really were gamers in the past or had fallen out of it are now getting sucked back into it with, you know, Facebook and, you know, Candy Crush and all these things that you can download, and short little bits where you can dedicate like 3 to 5 minutes while you're sitting waiting for someone, and then you just pop in, pop out. And, you know, a lot of people call them casual games, and I think that's fair. But, you know, that opens up a whole new avenue for people to enjoy this sort of thing. And I don't think it's quite as social as, you know, like actually playing a real-time game like Call of Duty or something like that with your friends, or Mario Kart. But it has opened up gaming back up to a lot of people that previously either didn't have experience with it or had just fallen out with it.
Yeah, I think there's another great thing that's happened in games, and just as not only the graphics got more complex and gameplay, um, the expectations of these have gotten to the level of when you're developing a game, it's pretty much like making a movie. So you can't just have like, oh, we need just the little guy needs to go from here to here and fight these guys, and we just need to make some graphics that look like he's going somewhere. No, you need a storyline, and you need tons of art that needs to be designed, and tons of assets that are created, and voice actors. Actors are a huge part of games now.
Yeah.
Sound effects and just special effects galore and cinematics. And it also it really opens up realities that we never expected. And I'm really thinking about the biggest surprise, something that I was just like, no, this is blasphemy when I first heard of this, and that was Lego Star Wars. And then I saw the truth, and it's amazing.
With regards in the vein of what you're saying, Karen Travis, and it rolls into Star Wars, said that she believes that video games were the new novels or are the new novels, and that's how kids are getting their entertainment, and that's how they're taking in their fantasy. You know, so like you are right, you are correct, because Karen validates your statement.
Well, and she does it in multiple ways. She also, not only does she say that, but she puts her money where her mouth is, and she writes content for game franchises. You know, she was heavily involved with Gears of War over the past few years and everything. And I have to agree with her. Any person that can sit down and play a game like Mass Effect, you can drop 20 to 40, 50 hours into it easily, and it's more than a movie, it's more than a book, because not only are you getting this great story in this great universe with, top-notch voice acting and special effects and everything, but you're involved with it. It takes it almost to a whole new level as far as storytelling goes, because, you're not just a spectator anymore.
Can I mention, I want to your point, getting involved in games, and the casual games, I have to tell you. Oh, damn it.
No, do it.
Go ahead.
All right. One of the casual games that I got hooked into, and it has to have a character that I enjoy in order to bring me in to a game. It was Transformers. There's a few Transformers games for your phone out there. I don't remember what it's called, but it was like a Transformers card game. And what you did was you would collect teams. You would assign yourself an affiliation and a team leader, and that would sort of set you off on, it would establish what your top deck was going to become, and then you would build and upgrade and la 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 la. And it was a free game, and it felt good, and it was fun. And my wife and I, my buddy Jake, I'm pretty sure Joel, Martin, Piero, I tried to get all of you guys in on it. We're all playing this. However, I was secretly buying cards because there was an option there. You could load money into into an account and then slowly leak the money out as cards became available. And I'm pretty sure I spent like $50 trying to get Rodimus Prime.
But that's not bad, because I've heard of people dropping hundreds of dollars on those games. Like,
I'm sure of it, dude.
It's really easy to do. Actually, South Park just did an episode about that. Like, literally just this week, they did an episode called "A Freemium Isn't Free," is what it's called. And it's about these freemium games where they're free to play, but they kind of, sucker you into dropping more money into it. And they make the statement, it deliberately targets people that have impulse control issues, and that's where they make a bulk of their money. It's not that everyone spends, anywhere from $10 to $50 over the course that they play their games. They depend on these people that drop $500, $600, $700 over a couple months.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Well, the thing is, and I was wondering how you would have fared with the G.I. Joe version of the game, because I know that's your soft spot, Ed. Because this is what you do. You build. You choose an affiliation. For me, it was Transformers. I automatically pick Autobots. I can't remember who my team leader was. I think it was Mirage. It's like that. I said that sets you off on your immediate deck. then what you're doing, so you go in with the assumption that these are random Autobots. So they're kind of going a little bit of G1, a little bit of G2, some characters from before the movie, after the movie. It doesn't matter because it's loose like that, right? However, you're looking at your deck, and I'm like, okay, I've got Magnus and Cup and Blur, Perceptor. Oh my god, well, I only need Rodimus, and I'll have all of the characters from the movie because I've got an RC here that's building up. So,
Right.
oh my gosh, all I need is that. Wait a minute, I've got 3 of the Dinobots. Well, I need Grimlock. Well, then the next thing you know is none of these are actually ever in the randoms available. But you can go to the store, and bitches are for sale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And getting one of those powers up the next, and it's just like, what? And I did fall into that. It's a rabbit hole? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, like I've built a game, and it's a free game. It's a free download, and you could play the whole game without buying shit and still get to the end. It just means time and patience, right? Just like any one of these games. But you've got people who are impatient and who play these so often that dropping some bucks on these things to move it along or just to get cool stuff. Much like in gambling, you have whales. People have no problem like walking up to a table and like, yeah, do a 10,000 on red. Like it ain't no thing, because you know what? For them it ain't. And we're counting on them. Like we will have offers of like, there's something you only get towards the end of the game, and
That's the game, people. That's the game. It's
Yeah.
free and it's on iTunes. And I'm actually drawing one of the characters right now. I wanted to put it up for Inktober, but I'm drawing one of the characters and I'm going to put it on Facebook. But get your asses on this game. Ed drew this shit and it's badass.
That's great.
Thanks. Also available for iPad. Yeah, but that's it. It's for.
But not Android, because fuck Carl.
We're getting there. We want everybody to spend money on us. But yeah, it's kind of the model now is free download for the most part, and if you run out of health, you're like, fuck. All right, I'm gonna beat it this time. Maybe you got no skills but deep pockets. You're gonna spend a couple bucks on that, and you're going to spend a couple bucks to if you're a whale and you have if you have a chance to buy like this awesome thing that only appears at the end of the game, you can use it here on level 3 and then just run that shit. Just run it, and that'll be 20 bucks. People will do that. Research is there. People will do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a lot of kids that play it. My buddy Shannon, his daughter's always coming up to him like, but the princess needs the wig. She needs the thing with the thing. He's like, shit, it's another $1. Damn. But how many times a week does she come to him?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's how they all work between impulse deficient people and kids. We should do okay.
And I want to keep this short because again we're running long.
Oh yeah, we're going long.
But I think here's the fair thing to say though is I think that is kind of a shitty practice, but that's life. You can say the same exact thing like Mike when you said like, oh, you say like almost with a little shame that you spent almost $50 on that game. But think about Magic the Gathering, which is basically the same exact thing.
Right.
How many people spend hundreds of dollars buying Magic cards?
Right.
Of course it is slightly different because you're getting a physical product.
Right.
But still, like the concept is more or less the same. You're buying cards for a card game. It's.
There's always everything's got something you're going to spend extra money on if you love it, if you enjoy it.
Yeah. So
like watching movies, you're going to go for a big screen and Dolby 5.1 surround, and you got to have it. You got to have a 3D screen, and you got to have the best of this, and you got to have vibrators in your chair for when you watch Armageddon.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
And the thing, and I think the South Park episode, everyone should check it out. It's a really good episode. It's probably for free on Hulu or something. But the one thing that they do really point out though is like the people that do have those impulse control issues that are spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on apps. If they're not spending it on that, they're going to spend it on something else because those are the same people.
Meth.
Yeah, or like gambling. Like people that do that are also prone to gambling or alcoholism or all these other things. You know, that's just the way that some people are wired. So one way or the other, someone's going to take advantage of that, and unfortunately, it happens. So
That's it. Just know that we're glad that you're addicted to us. VOR.
yeah, and we will not microtransaction you on VOR.
Nope. You know exactly what you're getting. And if you don't, you can always go to vorradio.com. We have links to the show. And if you need some more, baby, we'll hook you up. Facebook, that's where it's at.
That's really good.
That was super fucking smooth, dude. Super smooth. That was game show right there.
That's right. We're pretty good. We got some more game show stuff for you over at the Facebook group. Yeah, 24/7, whenever you need it. We got some good people. Check us out. We got everything you want. Come to us. We love you. Nobody loves you like us. What is this? This is Castlevania.
That's Castlevania 2, right?
I think it's straight Castlevania. Anyway, hey, well, we got some feedback from other people that do love us or people that don't love us. We're going to find out tomorrow with the Republicans, your viewer feedback.
Yeah, so come back tomorrow for that.
Yes.
Or don't.
It's all good. Go.
We'd like you to, though.
Keep smoking meth or listen to us. So,
Yeah.
on that note, may the meth
Be in.
Your ass.
Later.
Meth mules.
shake